Health is life. Your health matters. You matter. Health begins in the spirit and the mind. Take time to love you. Live well. Be well.
Let's go.
Health matters to me.
Come on, get up, cause you tuned into the station for your morning motivation to get your education for your health and your spiritual needs.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, strong will to empower the people, to promote the peace, though. Positive attitudes, behavior, that's a lifelong dream, go.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, health matters and we're here to help you become a better you, to be the best version you can be.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, and it's time for this classic, fantastic food for your soul. Here's Jackie and Coach Patrick right here. Let's go.
Health matters to me.
Hi, good morning. This is Jackie.
And Coach Patrick.
And you're listening to Help Matters Podcast, where your help matters.
That's right. Just good morning. I hope you guys are having a great day. We want you to join us right here every Saturday at 9 a.m. as we bring you relevant information pertaining to your health and well-being. We'll have healthcare professionals and other professionals on the show to assist us in helping you to be the best you that you can be as it pertains to your health and well-being.
Okay, guys, you already know what to do. Go ahead and subscribe and like. Also, head over to our Facebook page, Get Fit with Jackie Fitness, and like our page.
That's right. And also the YouTube channel, Help Matters at Jackie and Coach Patrick.
Yes. All right. I forgot that one then. That's all right.
Okay.
That's all right.
It's all good. It's all good. Listen, we got a great show coming up with you today. We got Dr. Dan's going to be on with us. We're talking about allergies and the immune system. But first, we want to acknowledge some birthdays. Happy birthday to our grandbaby, Jay. He'll be celebrating his birthday on next week. Happy birthday to Sarah, our goddaughter, in North Carolina. Happy birthday to Artisha, our niece in Atlanta.
Actually, he's celebrating his birthday this week.
I thought it was next Wednesday.
No, it's the 21st.
That's right. Sure is. I'm behind on the time.
So happy birthday, belated birthday. So he's celebrating his birthday this weekend. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday and happy anniversary to anybody that's celebrating an anniversary on this mighty month of March. We wish you happy anniversary. Keep the fire burning. Keep building family and keep becoming one. So happy birthday, happy anniversary to everybody that's celebrating those in this great month of March. I'd like to acknowledge our sponsor, Aiken Chiropractic, Dr. Dan. Listen, when your spine is aligned, your body is too. Aiken Chiropractic is located at 425 Lawrence Street Northwest in Aiken, South Carolina. Their number is 803-641-9191, and their website is www.aikenchiropractic.com. If you would like to be a sponsor, partner, or friend of the Help Matters broadcast, you can call 706-592-8862. And we would love for you to help us to do what we do every Saturday as we bring relevant information as it pertains to your health and your well-being.
All right, guys. Y'all know we are getting a little bit of pollen a little bit earlier than what we're supposed to, guys. And I tell you, and this week it has been at its all high. I mean, I'm telling you, it has been real high. And I said, so, I mean, it's thick in the air. So it's like it just hits you as soon as you get out the door. But guess what, guys? We're going to be talking to Dr. Dan, and he's going to be talking to us about allergy and the immune system. Without further ado, let's introduce Dr. Dan Jolich of Aiken Chiropractic. Hello, Dr. Dan. Welcome to Help Matters.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be back again. So I thought this time of the year would be a good time to talk about allergies, and there are all kinds of allergies over there. And, I also want to kind of put a particular effort and emphasis on food allergies as well. You just mentioned the pollen, and that is definitely prevalent right now. It's crazy out there. I mean, my car was completely yellow. You can wash it, but it will come right back. So,
right back.
taste. So, what do we do? How do we protect ourselves? What is the allergy? What does that really do to our body, and how does that really manifest itself? So, and then in the end, I want to mention what chiropractic can actually do to help with allergies, because it definitely can. So, what do you do about it? So, first of all, what is the allergy? Allergy is really the exaggerated immune response of your body. That's what it is. It's in result to some kind of a allergen or some kind of a substance that's introduced in our body, such as this pollen that's flying around like crazy right now. But there's a lot of other things that cause allergies. So how does it work? Well, it has to do with the immune system, so what happens is when things happen and you inhale or swallow or breathe in or what have you, some particles, they can get into your body, and then your immune system, to keep it simple, the white blood cells are those little hunter cells. They go around your body in the tissue layers, and they attach themselves to other molecules. And if the white blood cell figures, oh, this is not my own cell, this is not of my body, then it wants to kill it. That's how they can differentiate. So what bacteria, viruses are. So you will attack that, and you will stay healthy. But the problem is sometimes some of these allergens cause white blood cells to attach to it, and he cannot read it, so he realizes that's not part of your own body, and then he tries to destroy it. But it's not a live thing. It is a particle or something, and then he can't destroy it. I mean, it's not a live thing anyway. So then your body goes overboard sometimes, and it would create more and more white blood cells to attack those things even more, and then you start having exaggerated response, because that's what allergy really is. It's exaggerated immune system response. So in some people that's worse than others, and we all have some allergies. I'm very fortunate. I don't have a lot of allergies, but I do have some, but not a ton of them. So your immune system goes crazy, tries to kill something that cannot be killed, and it just kind of goes on from there. Your temperature can go up. You can
Wow.
have, fever. And the reason why there's a fever sometimes associated with allergy responses is most of the bacteria that lives in our body, they only live up to certain temperature. Like a body temperature is their, kind of like a prime temperature for them to grow in. So if your body temperature goes up a few degrees, it will basically kill most of the microorganisms that attack us. So that's what your body does. It will, if you can't kill it with white blood cells, goes, oh, okay, well, let me send a signal, and I'm going to raise the body temperature. So it goes up, and that's normal. I mean, so that's normal. That's
Protecting
supposed to
itself.
destroy
Yeah.
the bacteria.
Right.
Uh-huh.
It's protecting
So
itself. Yeah.
Right.
exactly. The problem with that, though, is when the fever or the body temperature goes, higher than it should be, it can go out of control. Then it can be life-threatening. So you have to monitor that. So when you have, children, they have some, responses to some stuff. You got to watch that. If it goes above like 1 or 3 or something like that, that's a little high. If it's like
Mhm.
1 or 1 or something, you just monitor it for a little bit and let it kind of do what it's supposed to do. But sometimes it goes too high, then you gotta bring it down. Doesn't
Right.
mean you need to bring that temperature down right away, because you want it to kill bacteria and viruses. But that's another story. That's why that happens, and that's also part of the allergic response. In allergy, you want to bring it down right away, because there is no bacteria, there is no virus. It is simply in response to the allergen substance, and there are a lot of things that can cause us to have that, and you want to calm down that reaction of the body. So the immune system needs to calm down. They're a little bit excited, they're a little bit overworking, and we can only do that by limiting the amount of allergens that go into our body. So for
Mhm.
instance, right now, when the pollen is going crazy, if that causes some people allergic responses, it would be better to wear a mask. Those little blue masks that we all wore during COVID, it would be a good thing to wear those right now. And I would like to point out that those surgical masks that we all had, or even the N95 mask, well, their pores, like when you look at the mask on the, under the microscope or whatever, there are little pores where, like a weaves in the fabric, and so the small things like viruses are going to get through those pores. They're just not small enough to stop a virus.
Mm.
However, they are good enough to stop a pollen. Pollen is a huge molecule. It's huge. It's a lot bigger than
Mm.
bacterializers. Yeah. So those masks will stop that. So if you actually have, allergic problems with, pollen this time of the year, you should most definitely wear one of those masks when you go outside, and it will prevent you from inhaling that stuff. Now, for masks to be effective, you shouldn't touch it with your hands too much, and you need to change it. You cannot just, wear one mask for a week. I mean, you gotta think. Like in a
Mhm.
hospital, the hospital staff, they use, surgical masks with the stuff they do, and they don't touch it with the hands. If they touch it with a hand, they throw it away, get another one, and they change them throughout the day. It's not just like one mask the whole day. So I know it costs money for those masks, so people tend to use them longer. But you really need to just, once you touch it with the hands, you're infecting, and you need to really just replace it. So you
Yeah,
got to have
change
a
it up.
bunch of masks. That's why they're not expensive.
Mm.
And also, I don't think those fashion masks, like those cloth masks, do a lot. The surgical masks are really designed to stop things. The pores, the openings in those masks are a lot smaller than in the fabric. So fabric might help, but I mean, you really should have a real mask. So that would diminish that. That would lower down the response of the body, and it would simply not do a problem, because you're not going to have those allergic responses and the substances coming in your body. Now, the more common type of allergy that people can have anytime will be the food allergies. And I want to talk about that specifically because pollen will eventually stop. I mean, it's kind of big right now. If you wear a
Right.
mask and stuff like that, it will eventually go away. But food allergies can be happening constantly, anytime.
Mhm.
And we all have some kind of food allergies. When you read the materials, they say that the science has identified more than 170 type of foods that are known to cause, food allergies.
Wow.
And nine of these 170 or so foods account for the majority, by far the majority of food allergy in Americans. So to be more specific to our country, these are the nine allergy causing, food type of substances. So not in any particular order, but milk is one of them, eggs, peanuts, also other nuts, tree nuts like almonds, walnuts, and cashews, also fish, and you
Mhm.
have to be a little specific, like pollock, salmon, cod, tuna, snapper, eel, and tilapia. Those are the most common ones. Then also crustacean shellfish, including shrimp, lobster, and crab. Then again, soy, wheat, and sesame seeds. So those are the top nine, kind of more than nine, really, but the nine kind of categories that cause most allergy responses in most people. So,
All of the good stuff.
yeah, well, you got to avoid some of these things.
Yeah,
So,
you got to.
why do these food allergies exist, and why do they affect so many people? Well, you got to read some stuff. I actually brought a couple of books in here that I wanted to show to people. This was at my desk. So, Dr. Stephen Gundry wrote this book, and it's an excellent book. It's called The Plant Paradox. So, this
Wow.
is what the book looks like. It's by Dr. Gundry. He's awesome. And, in order to better ourselves, we should be reading. We shouldn't just be, going on Google or, going on YouTube and stuff like that. You really should read books. I mean, that's so the real stuff is written in some of these books like that, and
That's right.
they're very good. I mean, I think I bought it like Barnes and Noble or anything like that. Nothing special. So this particular book, it says it's talks about the hidden dangers in what I call quote unquote healthy foods that cause disease and weight gain. So he's placing this on research, and it's a really neat stuff that he talks about that. So I want to point out that there are certain substances out there. They're called lectins. Have I mentioned that in the past? I'm not sure. We might have mentioned that at
Yeah,
some
you
point.
mentioned
Yes,
lectin.
we
Yes, you
have.
have.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
So I want to mention that again because a lot of the substances are called lectins, and they some of these foods that I just mentioned, have certain they all really do to lectins. So one of those lectins that people know about, and they get a lot of allergies is gluten. So that's why some people like gluten-free foods and things of that nature. So, but gluten is just one of the lectins that exist out there. So, what are these lectins? What is that? Well, lectins are basically produced by plants, and lectins are proteins. So they're big molecules of proteins. They're found in certain plants, and they're found in certain parts of plants. It's not like the whole plant has it. So you got to kind of read these books and kind of look that stuff up a little bit, and if you want to better yourself. So, what do they do, or why do they exist? Well, the way he described it in the book, back in the prehistoric times, there was a time in the history of our planet where there was really no animal life. It was just plant life in the beginning. And plants lived on this planet uninterrupted by any live animals for like billion of years or something, like some huge, huge amount of time. And then, the animal life starts to develop on the planet Earth. And then some of these animals start to get bigger and bigger, like, dinosaurs and all that. And some of those animals are, herbivores, and they started eating plants. So, nothing wants to die. Plants don't want to be eaten. So,
Right.
Plants fought back. So, plants cannot move. They don't have legs to run away. But plants are very good chemists, and they can change chemical composition within their body, and they can produce certain substances. So the plants, as a response of animals appearing on the planet Earth in the past and start eating it, they started producing some of these proteins called lectins to protect themselves from being eaten by animals, and including humans as well. So, different plants have different lectins and different amounts of it, and that's kind of what you need to read about, and that kind of explains some of these, allergies, that all of these allergies we talk about, basically almost all of them come from these lectins. And so, it's kind of interesting. I find that really fascinating. So, here's how they work. The animal, let's say some kind of dinosaur, were trying to eat this bush. And if that bush plant was full of these lectins, it will cause digestive issues within the animal. Animal will get sick after eating it. And after a while, the animal realizes, oh, I can't eat that bush because every time I eat it, I get sick. So I'm going to eat this other stuff because the other stuff doesn't make me sick, but this one does. And that's why lectins exist. They protect the plants from getting eaten and dying away. That happens today too. I mean, this is not just that's how it started, according to what Dr. Gundry and other people say. But today is the same thing. So, for instance, when people are allergic to peanuts, a lot of people have peanut allergies. Peanuts are full of lectins. And that's why a lot of people have problems with peanuts. So you should avoid eating peanuts, is what the point is. They're huge with lectins. They're full of that, and it's kind of a dangerous thing. So, instead of peanuts, try eating walnuts. Walnuts have almost no lectins. So you can eat walnuts all you want, but peanuts you got to be careful with. Then, as far as some other of these nuts, for instance, since I mentioned that, almonds can be okay and may not be okay. The lectins are present in the skin of the walnut. So almond. So if you go to the grocery store and you buy what are called bleached almonds, which are white, which don't have they remove the skin. I don't know how they do it, but they remove it. You can eat those all you want. Because all the lectins that were in the almond were in the skin, and skin gets removed, and you can eat it. It's perfectly safe. But if you eat it with the skin, you may end up having some kind of allergic response as well. Cashews are bad as well. I would advise not to eat too much cashews. I don't know if you ever watch videos on YouTube how they actually make cashews. They're actually toxic. They're toxic to us. People, we don't make them in this country. They come from other countries, South America, whatever. And it's actually poisonous. So the people that work there, they have to wear, some kind of mask and some kind of gloves and stuff. And they cannot be eaten right away. They have to do some kind of processing to make it safe for us to eat cashews. So yeah, they're kind of dangerous. So
you're messing me up, Dr. Dan. I love cashews.
He's a nut me.
It could be affecting you. It could be affecting you. So be careful with that. Walnuts, you should replace it with walnuts. Walnuts are really good, or pecans. Pecans are really good as well. And like I said, almonds without the skin, So those are things you got to kind of learn and be careful with because it can affect you. Now, some of these food allergies, including these lectins, they don't really, they may not affect you right away. Like not everything happens instantly. But if you eat something over time, it can affect you. So these lectins can actually accumulate in your body, and it can cause clogging in your arteries and things of that nature. So
Wow.
you may eventually have cardiovascular problems, and comes from that. But it's
Wow.
not right away. It might take 10 years or 20 years sometimes for that to happen. Dr. Gentry, that wrote that book, The Plant Paradox, that I was just showing to people, he's a medical doctor. He's really a the cardiologist. That's what he is. And
Okay.
he said for years, he still practices in California. He's in his, I think, 70s now. But for years, he was doing all this, bypass surgeries and all that, and people just wasn't getting better. Put him on different diets, and nothing seems to work. He was wondering, why is that not working? And then he started looking into it, and like, oh, there's all these lectins you need to avoid. And then really, in his clinics now, he does no surgeries. He basically puts people on different type of a diet
Hmm.
that's healthy for them, and they get better. So
Wow.
they can avoid a lot of stuff. And I think that's part of this allergy kind of conversation that we are having. So
Hmm.
to just kind of summarize what Dr. Gundry also said is that how do you kind of avoid this plants that we eat that have a lot of lectins. Number one, you should peel your veggies. Lectins are mostly concentrated in the leaves, peels, and seeds of plants. I'm literally reading from this book.
Hmm.
Simply by peeling and de-seeding vegetables like tomatoes and peppers, it will reduce your lectin content. Now, I want to say something about tomatoes. In the nature, when something is bright red color, that's usually a warning. Usually, that means something's wrong with it. If you see like mushrooms in the nature, they are red color with white dots. Those are poisonous. You're not supposed to touch those. Well, tomatoes have evolved from being kind of bad for us to kind of we can eat them, and they are bright red. But they're loaded with leptins, and the leptins in a tomato is in the skin of tomato and in the seeds. So if
Hmm.
you remove the seeds, and my grandmother, when I was younger, she would peel the tomato like an apple. I didn't know that, but she didn't know about leptins, but somehow instinctively she knew to peel it, and that basically got rid of the leptins. Now there's lectins. There's another thing too about these lectins. They get inactivated by cooking. So if you were to eat pizza, with a tomato sauce, you'll be fine because tomato sauce has been cooked. Like it goes and gets
Mhm.
temperature, and that kind of high temperature would inactivate these lectins that are present in tomatoes. So, if you
Wow.
like pizza with a
I
tomato sauce,
heard
it's
that
fine.
before.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just about raw tomatoes. You got to be careful with. So one of the things is he says you peel your veggies. Another one, another tip he says is you should shop for fruit in season. Fruit contains fewer lectins when it's ripe, so eating apples, berries, and other lectin-containing fruits at the peak of their ripeness helps
Hmm.
minimize your lectin consumption as well. So it's kind of
Wow.
interesting.
That's
I want
good.
to point out a couple of things about the fruits. We could buy certain fruits year round in the United States, but they don't come from our country. They come from other countries. So
Mm.
really, I don't think you should do that. I think stuff that's basically in season in our country, and that would be healthier for us. So let's talk about this berry situation. I think that's pretty interesting. Berries are really good, and in general. Berries are low in sugar and they're high in dietary fiber. So dietary fiber is really important for your digestion. It can help you lose weight, and also it's low in sugar. You got to watch the sugar content in fruit. Now, kind of interesting thing, but when we talk about berries, maybe some people don't understand this, but berries are blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, that kind of stuff. Do you
Mm.
know that strawberry is not a berry? Did you know
No.
that?
No.
Wow. I
Strawberries
think
are
you
not
told
berries.
us that before,
Yeah,
you know. And what
strawberries.
about elderberry? Elderberry is a
So
good.
that's a berry. That's a berry. But
Yes.
strawberries are not berries. Strawberries are what they call accessory fruit, and they
Wow.
are not berries. Actually, when you look at the strawberry, the little seeds on the outside is basically the strawberry itself. The red stuff that you eat is all sugar, kind of. But since they do a lot of
Mm.
genetic modified foods, strawberries are not gigantic. They didn't used to be that big. And when you cut it open, it used to be all red in the middle, and now it's all white in the middle because there's no nutrients in it. They just, made them look big and pretty on the outside, but they're not as nutrient rich as they once were. That's just from the farming and using all this other stuff they do. That's another story for another episode.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I know.
strawberries are not berries. So
So it
what is
should
the
be red. The
yeah?
strawberry should be red on the inside.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. Now, what is a good berry as well? Now, it's going to blow your mind, but watermelon is a berry.
Okay.
Yes, we
So,
believe watermelon is good for it with the seed.
yeah. Yeah,
With the
watermelon's a berry. So watermelon is actually pretty good for you. It's not high in sugar. It's not high in calories. And I like watermelon, but you gotta eat it when the season is there. Like in the summertime. Eat
Mhm.
local watermelons. They're really, really good. Another thing that's a berry is melons. Melons in general, and also pumpkins. Pumpkins are also considered berries.
Wow.
So it's
Wow.
kind of confusing. And another berry is a cucumber. Cucumber is actually a berry.
Wow.
So
wow.
it's so confusing. But yeah, so tomato is not really a vegetable. Tomato is really a fruit. So
Yeah,
it
and
gets
I've heard
I
that.
confusing.
heard that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it gets a little confusing. But
Yeah.
I would highly suggest for viewers to look into Dr. Stephen Gundry's work, and one of his books is this one, The Plant Paradox, and get familiar with these lectins. They might really change your life because it's something that opens your eyes to, hey, why do I have this kind of response, and why this bothers me, and why this doesn't bother me, and that kind of stuff. And why not? Why not educate yourself?
Right.
So I think that would be
Self-education.
good thing. Yeah,
That is good. Yeah, that is good. And like you say, Dr. Dan, allergies affect everyone, people of all ages, genders, races,
yeah,
socioeconomics. It doesn't matter. Allergies can affect you. And like you say, like with the lectin, a lot of people don't even know they're taking those things in a lot of the foods that we're eating. So
yeah,
that's some good information.
And even when you talk about the lectin, I just looked up Dr. Gundry. Lectin, Lectin, is actually is in a lot of ingredients as
it is.
fillers.
It is.
Found in not, and it's like, why are you putting it in there? And
Yeah.
why is it that we need it? Is it for taste, texture, or I mean, why do they use it as an ingredient, Dr. Dan?
Well, we do a lot of stuff for taste, that's really what it is.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people are allergic. Like, how about gluten? Like, why do they even sell, gluten-free bread and stuff? Well, gluten is a
Mm,
big protein molecule as well, and it gives certain texture and taste. Before I continue my, undergrad education in Rutgers University, I worked in a bakery for a little bit. And yeah, when you bake all that stuff, I mean, gluten is what gives elasticity to the dough. It
Mhm.
just does good. It rises and all that stuff. So, it's good for that. But it causes issues with a lot of people because gluten is one of those big protein molecules that also can wreak havoc with your immune system. So that's why some people,
mm,
try to get gluten-free stuff. But yeah, I mean, you just got to be educated. The whole point of what we're doing here is trying to educate people, and really that time is kind of limited. So I can give you some, general ideas and how to think about stuff, but it's really up to the viewers to really go and search this information themselves. I mean, I mentioned Dr. Gundry and his book several times, and they should go look that up. And lectins,
Mhm.
like we just talked about, that's something that most people maybe don't know about it, and it's affecting all of us.
Mhm.
I also mentioned, that chiropractic can help with allergies, and I'm going to mention that towards the end here. Maybe people don't associate chiropractic with allergies because you don't think about that. You think about your back pain, neck pain, that kind of stuff. But there is a direct relationship between stress on your immune system and increased allergic, response or reaction. So
Mhm.
when the person's immune system is compromised or is not working properly or to their full potential, then it is not in the best position to end up fighting these allergens, these substances that cause the allergic response in the body, or any other imposed stresses as well. So, all of these things are allergens. So it could be pollen, but it also could be food. So
Mhm.
with food, it's relatively, you know, easy in a way. It's not really easy because you got to learn all this stuff, but you can avoid certain foods and eat certain foods and or prepare them a certain way to minimize the exposure to these allergens or lectins. Where pollen, I mean, you might just have to inhale some. So wear a mask. Expose yourself less out there. But going to get your spine checked and getting adjusted um, through chiropractic can actually strengthen the immune system. And that's happening by correcting the misalignments in the spine, especially the neck area or the what we call cervical area. The reason for that, there is a connection between your brain here and the rest of the body. All the nerve cell bodies are located right here in the gray matter, and they communicate with the rest of the body through the extensions, and those are in your peripheral nerves, like in the spinal cord and all the other nerves that go everywhere. So basically, the way I like to explain that, your nerve cells are really your central computer up here that controls everything in the body, and it communicates through the nervous system, which think of the nerves as some sort of like electrical wires connecting everything. And so there's information flowing those nerves constantly back and forth, back and forth. Your brain tells all your organs what to do without you thinking about it. Like while we're sitting here and talking, my heart is beating, I'm breathing air, I'm doing stuff that I'm not thinking about. That is our autonomic nervous system. It just happens on its own. But all of that information comes from the brain, and it's sent to, my heart and all the other organs that are functioning right now, my lungs and everything. It's sent through these nerves, so you would, have that connection. If that connection gets interrupted between here and this other area, it just gets interrupted. Well, that's where problems, start. And they talk about the nerve cells conducting, this nerve impulse or this information in there. And people always focus on pain, but the nerve conducts only about, depends what you read, but it's less than 10% of the whole information going through the nerve is nociceptive. That's like pain signal. So pain signal is less than, 10%. 90% or more is really proprioceptive and all this other stuff that the body does without your knowledge, using those nerves to conduct, your body from, working properly. And
Mhm.
your nervous system controls your immune system. And we
Mhm.
talked about that a lot. So,
Yes.
if you go and get checked and your spine is out of alignment, and we go ahead and, get that corrected, we get that, realigned back there, that would allow the spinal nerves and the brain to communicate more efficiently with one another, means that your body has a much better chance in fighting against different substances like this allergens. So chiropractic adjustments can benefit, your nervous system, it can benefit your respiratory system. It would release the pressure on the nerves that innervate the lungs, and chiropractic adjustment can help your breathing quality and potential, which directly relates to allergy symptoms like breathing with all this pollen and stuff. So, there is all of that. So, and then of course, your lifestyle choices and your dietary, choices with the food allergies. So I just want to encourage people that, listen to this, that, hey, you need to kind of look into, evaluate what you are doing in life. Is it something you can do better? Are there some changes you want to incorporate and make sure you stay healthy? And where do you get your information? How do you know? I rather subscribe to professionals that done research and they wrote these books and things of that nature, that I like to read. And other ways, I'm looking at different studies they do publish, versus just going on YouTube or
Mhm.
Google and see what these influencers are saying, because they're getting paid to say something. No one's
Right.
to say what I'm saying here. I
Mhm.
want to show another quick book before we leave. I wrote this one as well. I don't know if they can read it right there, but I'll say what it is. This is called
Magic
The
of food.
Magic of Food. Have you seen that book before?
No, I'm writing it down because
Yeah,
I'm
this
writing
is a
both
good
of them
book
down. I
too.
found Dr. Gundry. I found
Yeah.
him. So,
So
what's
the
the name
one
of
with
that one?
the one with Dr. Gundry again is called The Plant Paradox by Stephen Gundry, MD. And this other book I wanted to show to people. It is called The Magic of Food, and it is by Michael T. Murray, MD. So here is what that book looks like. Kind of, it's called The Magic of Food. I can bring it up a little bit, and
Yeah, we see it. Mhm.
yeah, so that's that. And basically, he says live longer and healthier and lose weight with a synergistic diet, which is pretty neat. So, that's another thing to read and kind of, get familiar with, because you would definitely, my mom always said, you can always invest into two things. You can invest in your health, and you can invest in your education. You're always
Yeah.
going to get a return on those.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah, you
That's
can buy a car and you're going to lose money. I mean, cars lose
as soon
value
as you
over
drive
time.
it off the lot.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
like that, Dr. Dan, you said that. And so, when you say that what you invest in, and that's why we make healthy deposit into our health, we make healthy deposit and healthy investment into our health. So why not give our body something
yeah,
that's valuable? Don't give it things that is not valuable,
That's not gonna
so
help.
yeah.
that's not going to help. So like all these chemicals, and coach and I was saying, people so focus on talking about micronutrients and calories, but you're not looking at chemicals now that
Yes.
is being found in your foods, and reading your food labels and these hidden ingredients that's in there. So if this is not adding value to me, I
Hmm.
shouldn't be putting it in my body.
Right.
That's
Right.
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 Well,
And
the second book by Michael T. Murray, I say he's an ND. ND stands for naturopathic doctor, and
Mhm.
so in early 1900s, they laid the groundwork for naturopathic medicine. So these are healthcare professionals that want to do things naturally, and I think that's awesome. I guess in a way you can say chiropractic is naturopathic because we do everything natural. We don't, prescribe medication or anything. We just take away the obstruction within the spine and let the body respond to that. That's kind of the whole premise of what I do. But there's so much more that you can do with your body, and I think it's pretty neat. So food. When you think about it, and this is in his book as well, it says the food is a direct connection to nature. It
mm,
interacts with our bodies.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm quoting. It interacts with our bodies in complex and seemingly magical ways. It plays a major role in the composition of the cells throughout our bodies and influences how we function, think, and even feel. So,
wow.
that's a great book. And I mean, I don't have time here to go really deep with that, but
Mm,
I would say, hey, look it up. All of this is, in bookstores, so it's not like difficult to get. I think I bought this one in Barnes and Noble as well. I mean, these are like bestsellers. These are not like
That's
unknown
awesome.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Sounds good.
very cool
Sounds
stuff.
good.
So always,
Yes,
educate yourself and better yourself, and that I think is the whole point of our podcast, to educate people and better them.
that's right.
And and in the process, we'll live longer, and we'll, if more people actually took that aspect, we will have less sickness. Our healthcare costs will go way down. The politicians always talk about revamping the, healthcare system, how it's very expensive and everything. I agree, it's horrible. We
Hmm.
have a lot of problems with our healthcare system, but nothing's going to change unless we fundamentally change the way we look at health as a country, and we need to educate ourselves into ways of living healthier with in concert with nature. So you can't eat all this processed food and expect people to be healthy. Our healthcare system is going to be very, very expensive,
Right.
because you're going to require all this extremely expensive procedures like heart bypasses and God knows what else. Where even Dr. Gundry stopped doing this, and he's just counseling people and putting them on different diets, and that seems to work better than surgery, as
That's
long as
right.
they're not too late to do that. So it's pretty amazing what you can do. Our bodies are phenomenal pharmacies. They do a lot of different things, and we're born with everything we need to survive.
There
You
That's
you
right.
know,
go.
if you
That's
want to
right.
bring a little religion into this, or God, I would
You
say
you
God
you
made us.
right. You
Well,
absolutely right, Dr. Dan. You
yeah,
said that before.
yeah, God made us perfect in His image, and gave us everything we need to function. God didn't say, "Hey, you need to take aspirin or this pill in order to live." He didn't.
Come on, Dr. Dan.
You know.
That's
So
good.
Come on,
Well,
Dr. Dan.
Dr. Dan, let me get your thoughts on this before we go.
yeah,
I've heard that local bee honey is good
yeah.
for allergies. What are your thoughts on that? I know there's a lot of sugar in honey, but what are your thoughts on that?
So honey is excellent for us. Excellent, excellent in a lot of ways. Honey is the only food that we know of so far in the science that does never spoil. Honey never goes bad. Okay, it
Wow.
might gelatinize, it might get hard, but if you warm it up, you can still eat it. I mean, it never goes bad. I remember some time ago
Yeah.
they found in some Egyptian pyramid, they found some chamber, and they still found some clay pots with some 2,000-year-old honey. and they, warm it up and get it liquid because it was hard, and it was still good to eat.
Wow.
2,000-year-old honey. It never spoils. Honey kills bacteria and viruses upon contact because the honey has a very high osmotic pressure. So when it touches the bacteria wall, it cannot withstand that and it will burst. So honey is really good. I tell people, hey, if you don't feel good or you feel a little down or have a little something going on, go ahead and drink some hot herbal tea. I like chamomile, but any herbal tea is good. And then instead of sugar, put some honey. However, it cannot be the processed honey. It has to be what I call raw honey. And of course,
Yes.
local honey is really good. So people sell them. You can buy them. Just last week, my wife and I, my boys, we went to Augusta markets. They started doing the market every Saturday downtown, and it was awesome. A lot of people selling, a lot of vendors. I loved it. I thought it was great. So they started doing that. And somebody will sell honey, but I go to the mountains a lot, and you see all this mountain honey that people sell along the way. It has to be unprocessed, raw honey, because all the good stuff that's in the honey is in all that stuff. They shouldn't.
Mhm.
So the sometimes the processed honey looks so clear. It has that
Mm,
whiter color. Well, that's because they filter it. So all that is sugar. So
Mhm.
if you eat that
right.
honey, you're not going to get any response. You need
Mhm.
to buy a raw honey. So please
Good.
don't make a
Yes.
mistake buying those little cute little teddy bear, bottles. They're all cute. Yeah,
I like
cute,
that. Yeah,
but yeah,
we just went and bought us some at Wagon Barn. This is actually Burt's
Wagamama.
Bees.
There you go. There you go.
Yes,
So
they sell
every
it
kind
right
of
up
honey is
there.
good, but that kind of honey local is probably the best there is for us here.
Right.
'Cause,
Awesome.
it's reason why local stuff is better than when they import it from somewhere else. Well, we are adopted to living in a little local environment where we have resistance in our immune system against stuff that affects us locally. But something gets brought in from somewhere else, they may have other bacteria on it or something else that we are not really resistant to,
Mhm.
and then we might get sick or something. So that people call that allergy as well, but or food poisoning or whatever. But that's really a response to something that we don't have immunity against because it comes from
Mhm.
another country.
Good.
Oh,
So
that's good, Justin. Yeah.
when you travel to another country, you're not supposed to drink a lot of the local tap water because there's something called E. coli, is the little bacteria that's in the water in everywhere, and we have E. coli here. But you develop immunity. Your body has immunity to the local E. coli, so you can drink the water from the tap. But you
Mm.
go to Mexico or some other country, you might get sick because their E. coli is different than ours. So
Mhm.
that's a kind of like an example of that, but it happens with other foods. It's not just E. coli and water.
That's good, Dr. Dan. I tell you, you put out a lot of information
Information.
today,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we appreciate it. And I know the audience that's listening is appreciating it. So, real quick, unless you got something you want to share, go ahead and just share Aiken Chiropractic, how they can get in touch with you, how they can set up, and talk a little bit, of course, about the Power Wellness Program.
Anything, yeah. You already mentioned it, but aikenchiropractic.com, people tend to fill up the form on our website now, and that gets to me, and then I can give it to my staff, and we'll call them, and we'll make an appointment. But they can just call us, 803, 641-9191, and we're open, 5 days a week. Me and Dr. Ellison work there as well, and I'll be at work tomorrow all day again. So we're doing fine. But anytime, aikenchiropractic.com, they can just call us or what have you. And it's amazing what chiropractic can do. I mean, just the other day I had a lady that had a lot of migraines, and she was actually in the hospital for 2 days because the migraines were so strong, and
Mm,
it's really from the cervical region of her spine. I checked that, and it was way out of alignment. I adjusted her neck, and she felt much better. So it's just amazing what you can do when you take care of the spine. It's just nervous system controls everything. So you got to make sure that you take care of that. So I would also say, don't let other people dictate your healthcare to you. We have a Power Wellness program for that. It makes it less expensive to come, even if you have insurance that doesn't pay for regular treatments or doesn't pay for maintenance. Maintenance is really the key. Once you are hurting, that's not really healthcare. That's called sick care because you're sick
Right.
already, and it takes
mm,
more effort to get it back. Once you're back to being normal, you should get checked every so often and readjusted. We call that wellness care or maintenance care, preventative care, whatever you call it. But that's what's cool. That's what's good about it. You can maintain your body like that. So, that's one of the aspects you can do for yourself. But, there's other things we talk about all the time, those 5 factors of health we always mention. So, for that end, we do a Power Wellness program. And that way the insurance company doesn't dictate your care. You can come and it's affordable. You can do it yourself and just do it ongoingly, because I want people to stay well. And I don't want them just, Medicare only pays for, few visits. Well, I mean, when you have Medicare, for instance, they're very limiting and they're getting worse because our country, frankly, is kind of broke. They spend all
Running
this
out of
money.
money.
So they are
Right.
limiting services to the American citizens, but you can come to our office and take advantage of Power Wellness, and it might be less than your copay is per visit anyway. And you can just come whenever you want to and get adjusted regularly and don't have to worry about, because we don't file insurance if it's Power Wellness. We just give you the, reduced fee, and that's legal to do. So, so we have a Power Wellness program. You can look it up on our website as well.
Awesome,
All right.
awesome, Dr. Dan. Stay with us as we go out.
Cool.
We want to talk to you on the back end of the show. But listen, guys, this is Dr. Dan Jolich of Bacon Chiropractic. You just got a wealth of information on allergies and your
Yes.
immune system. And he just stayed on the surface. He didn't even dig deep. Trust me.
Trust me, he can
just
go
stayed on the
deeper.
surface of it. But
There's a
that was
ton of
good.
irritation here.
So we can't give them all. We got to keep
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
coming back. So Dr.
That's it.
Dan, so yes, keep them wanting more. And so we have learned so much from Dr. Dan, just he have educated us, and we just thank God that he has used us as vessels to bridge the gap and take this information to the people of the community.
Right. Most definitely. And beyond.
Yes.
And beyond. Listen, we thank Dr. Dan for being on the show with us this morning. We thank you for listening to Health Matters on this morning. We want you to make sure you like our Facebook page at Get Fit with Jackie Fitness and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Health Matters Jackie and Coach.
And guys, remember, we're here to help you to become a better you, to be the best you that you can be. We thank you guys for listening, and we like to leave you with 3 John 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper. Guys, you have a blessed and wonderful Saturday.
Health is life. Your health matters. You matter. Health begins in the spirit and the mind. Take time to love you. Live well. Be well.
Yeah, let's go.
Health matters to me.
Come on, get up. Cause you tune into the station for your morning motivation to get your education for your health and your spiritual need.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, strong will to empower the people, to promote the peace, no positive attitudes, baby, that's a lifelong dream goal.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, health matters and we're here to help you become the better you, to be the best you, the best version you can be.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, and it's time for this classic, fantastic food for your soul. Here's Jackie and Coach Patrick right here. Let's go.
Health matters to me.